Recordings.
More than cool. It talks about like how there's like a carrier can have like a logical carriers built in within it, right? Like a list, layered and layered and layered, so like words with grammar, with you know, all done through sound.
Yeah, yeah, nesting like the OSI model, right?
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like that was making me think about what artifacts are, right? It talks about what artifacts are in that article, and we can define that a bit better. And
Hmm.
what did I want to say with all that?
Uh, well, you can apply different protocols to the same set of artifacts.
Yeah, essentially that this is like a great. This is actually a great discussion of the layer of symbol to artifact. Like the whole thing here is layer to artifact, but on top of that
Right?
serves as the foundation for protocols themselves, which are which connects with you because of the index card um, box. Or how did you end up calling it?
Card box method.
Yeah, the card box method. There you go. So it applies there very heavily. That's why I sent it to you because you want to look at this. You want to look
Yeah.
the whole.
We also were going to go over like Portal Mountain and basically how it applies there too, right?
Right. And the whole thing is also a discussion of how agents communicate with agents. So it's also a
Right.
discussion of matrix.
That's yeah. And when you say the word carrier, that kind of reminds me of how I was thinking of like the cosmos that's shared between agents, like to get something done, right?
This is a discussion. So this like weaves a whole bunch of different concepts neurologically, from the neural OS perspective, and from the shared
Hmm.
OS perspective. There are many different ways. So it's all relevant. So it's like another base. It's not another bit of the Frankenstein that we've never really touched on too heavily, but
Right.
it's sitting in very very strongly in, in the inner workings of everything.
Inner workings of what?
It's the model. It's part of the model. It's just
Yeah.
more clarity.
Yeah.
Uh,
We always seem to kind of recognize that in the Scepter team in their work, where, however, well, it's
Not in the work and the thought.
what's that? In the
Yeah.
thought, yeah. Right
Yeah.
there. Where's the work? I'm still not too sure about that. Apparently things are happening, but
So getting back into it, yeah, it's all very relevant. And I've been reading. It's not a long article or anything. It's dense but not long, and I think you'll do okay with it. It's just like building a model in your head.
yeah, good. So we kind of left off on the product progression. There were only minor developments,
Yeah,
I think.
you change the names final to what seemed more appropriate. I think.
Yeah, something more generic stuff. Yep. Uh, I can find that. Um, and then, so my question is, I know we've kind of laid out a path of things that we wanted to discuss before we actually got to the model, the deck model schema. And do you think that,
Well,
are there any more charts floating around in your head, or that we need to, anything that we need to go over?
now that we've gotten into the product, into the infrastructure, and all of that stuff into the industry, we now have the first product, which is Portal Mountain, so we can begin to discuss that.
Right. Yeah, like I was thinking that would be the only next thing that I can think of would be to start formalizing that as a product.
Yeah, and if we do that, we are then defining the first layer of the industry, and then we can we can move on to the next, to the next, to the next. So we have
Right.
a few more hours of discussion there at least. Um, and then we
Yep.
can move to, after all that, we can actually move back into the demand and supply chart and move on from there. What would be the actual corporations based on that, on the industry there, all right? The demand and supply is like how corporations fulfill the personal archetypes list of demands. So it's like, how does it fulfill uncertainty in terms of education and stuff like that.
Right.
Have that interaction.
Cool. So I just forwarded just what I wrote just to the lobby again. So sorry, could you relate again industry to that supply or the demand and supply thing, like, and our progression? I kind of gapped out a bit. How you
So
were thinking that?
let me just find stuff.
Cool. You can share your desktop if you want.
I will. I will. I'm just trying to find the proper file to actually share. Corpus. Got it. Do you have it?
Yep.
Do you see what I see?
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So demand, you should recognize.
Mm-hmm.
That's the personal archetype. That's exactly what it is. Now, what supplies it? All of that is coming from the here. So somewhere from here, blah 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 blah. Somewhere on this chart, there's a correlation back to the supplier. So the person itself is a supplier of identity, right? So person being the whole stack, right? This whole
Right.
stack.
Yeah.
So that's what supplies the identity.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose, i.e., when you do kind of when you're trying to fulfill some initiative, you do
Right.
that via the corporate structure.
And the purpose of like a word itself does kind of imply a structured articulation via the market machine.
Sure. I mean, it's going to be like a project management ticket to fulfill, this and that requirement.
Right. Yeah, I just mean it's discrete. It's not like vague.
Yeah. It's like your purpose is given. You're not limited to a single purpose, but
Right.
because you're not limited to where you're working. So relationship is supplied by just membership itself.
The heck is that? Highway being crazy. Anyways, sorry.
Not seeing anything from here.
Yeah, just some truck was laying on their horn.
Actually, I hear that. Yeah. So just members alone,
It's
members
not really, but
relationships.
yeah, sorry, go ahead. So we're going down the stack. Member.
Member supplies the relationship demand. The role is supplied by the executive
Mm-hmm.
within the corporation. The skill is supplied by being in the position. right? So position is
Right. Yeah.
one.
I see.
That's where you get skill. The whole of guild institution is responsible for every provision you need. So you need a bed, you need you need a toilet, you need a square of tissue paper. This is where it's at. This
Cool.
is one store stop for everything. So performance is essentially supplied by researchers. So if you want to know coherence, the level, the kind of things, you can ask one of these nice fellers. Objective supplied by the navigator. So those positions supply the next. They're navigating right the landscape. Shit changes.
That one makes sense. Yeah. Researcher seems ambiguous for me as to how that relates.
Well, think about analytics and stuff like that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Like as if you didn't know how to even go about doing a project or even what's involved.
yeah. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit the researcher role to just job, right? It's not that. It means that it's applied.
Yeah.
It's only like where the supply is being met, right? Where the supply exists. It doesn't talk about the only. It doesn't talk about limiting the actual supply side from doing anything further. It's not a constraint.
Yeah, I mean we're going down the stack. Things are getting more fundamental, and
Yeah,
in that
director.
way, I could see performance as a pretty generic thing.
Yeah, directors are kind of quantifying space and time basically all the time, which is exactly where they land in other space in other places. The
Right.
builder actually supplies occupancy, right? The member supplies preservation. That could be self-preservation and/or preservation.
What is builder? Where does that come from? I don't even know if I've heard that.
Builder comes from it's one of them. So that's those roles,
Okay.
and
Well, great.
those are coming from
Well, I know the coherence chart, the degrees of coherence,
yeah,
but builder isn't there.
it is.
Are you sure?
Member level pragmatic. Right?
I don't think so.
All right, let me. I can't pull it up here, but I will send it over.
Perhaps.
So yeah, member under
Doesn't ring a
pragmatic.
bell.
Just take a look at your Telegram.
Builder. Interesting.
They're all there.
Yeah, it's just been a long time, I guess, since I've looked at that
Funny because you made this
particular slot.
I remember that you made it. So these are your terms, man. Yeah, where was I? So again, so we're supplying it with a builder, just basic space stuff. Preservation supplied by membership itself, right? Just belonging to the group is learning how to focus and all of that stuff. Part of it is preservation and restoration, if you recall.
Preservation.
Those are the right past the focus line. Those are the next two areas of concern. And then after that, you're completed the immunity guild, which again is part of preservation. And doubt is the demand for alleviating doubt is supplied by the master who does all the guidance and teaching things. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, the
Sweet.
facility is where this stuff happens. So this kind of stuff happens at the campus level. This kind of stuff happens at the corporation. This generally happens at the academy. Campus again, back to academy.
Very good.
So this is the initial pivot point from which we now begin to build various non-abstract products to satisfy these from
Right.
the industry framework, right? Using the well, you know what I'm saying, right? Infrastructure.
Yeah. So this is economy, right?
Oh
Demand
yeah,
and
just
supply.
like from this, everything should explode into our concrete.
And then, so industry is we're going to be supplying something, right?
Industry is the guild. So industry is not supplying anything. Industry is responsible for laying out the information of the product progression framework, right? Infrastructure is responsible for taking that framework and taking this demand and supply chart and putting boots on the ground, so to speak.
And right, and these are state archetypes, right?
Where do
Industry and infrastructure.
so industry is a natural guild. So it's part of the education portion. It's part of
Right, yeah. I think we've mixed those up in the past.
yeah. And infrastructure is the state archetype. Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I wish I had all these charts up in front of me, but I don't at the moment. Usually, I often find it difficult to connect all these like different terms from different charts and like keep them all in
Yeah.
my head.
On that front, I hear you. It's. I'm just flying through this, but it's all in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I hopefully I've given you enough of a bootstrap to keep doing this on your own. So you can see that these are all. This is the connections are straightforward. What did I just do? No, there we go. All of these and these, all of these and these, they're straight up from the temperament coherence chart, right? So,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
so already you know that we're talking about grandmasters and members. Member level, grandmaster level. So these are very, very capable individuals. Very hard to get there.
Right.
On top of that, their level of they must gun beyond focus in terms of the actual guild dynamics, in terms of the mediation dynamics, the natural guilds. I mean, by having these kinds of credentials, 5 per grandmaster. That's just incidental, by the way. All I did is I went through bottom to top for each guild, and I went like, okay, if you're this, what do you need? If you're that, what do you need?
Yeah.
And I just eliminated the ones that didn't go fit, and this is what I got. And every one of them landed in 5. Every one of these landed in 4. Go
Yep.
figure.
That's neat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was surprised by this. So say for president, right? These are functionally grandmasters. This does not need to be a grandmaster, however, uh, must be certified, if you will, certified member of these guilds.
Right.
Right? Membership is the bar here. The reason they're grandmaster is because look at the titles, right? That's where they appear in the coherence chart. So
Hmm.
really, the only thing that they're different is that their ability to not manipulate, navigate more than one angle of ingress. That's really the defining factor for them in terms of like actual what certifies one to be one. Like we got to be realistic here, right? So
Hmm.
more
Go over,
than
scroll to the left for a sec. Just, yeah.
right. So here we got the position being filled in.
Right. Yeah. And so we're seeing that basically once we hit operations with infrastructure, we're having grand mastery as providing those four
Mm-hmm.
there. Yeah. Just an interesting, I guess, coincidence or whatever. So industry guild is in a generic sense doesn't mean you have to build our products, what we're building, but the industry guild in the context of our guild of our Portal Mountain involves the production of these products that we're talking about.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Cool.
Yeah. This is the industry's framework that's working from. That's the product production framework or progression rather.
Right.
And the infrastructure is going to be this part here. So infrastructure is basically responsible for realizing this or being constrained to that.
And again, you mean not in a generic sense of infrastructure, but we're talking about the core guild, so to speak, the core of the network. It has
Well,
to produce these.
they have to reflect one another. Like actual infrastructure is going to have this shape, just not necessarily this crystal clear deviation,
Right.
nations.
So you're saying in a generic sense, the shape of basically Portal Mountain being reflected in everything is infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean it makes some sense.
Yeah, and so like when you take this idea of say Portal Mountain itself as a product, right? And then you ask, and you go here, and you ask yourself, well, okay, as a supplier of things like as a product, right? How is Portal Mountain being supplied in this grid, and by what? Right. So clearly, this is the case right there. We're landing ourselves.
Yeah.
See what I mean by that?
Hmm. Yeah, that was the next thing I wanted to try to get to was exactly how we were linking that up, how those four products would appear in connection with this, with the economy.
So preservation provided by members in the campus, that should probably be a bit more self-explanatory that we're landing ourselves here. Right? Remember, the whole economy is both the institution and the corporation working like this.
Right.
Initiative fulfillment. So this is part initiative, part fulfillment. So as you can see, this is supplied here. Clearly this would have something to do with this line here, right? Zone and builder, and actually, here. So both the corporation and the institutions are involved, right? One supplying the space and the land and whatever, the other supplying the material, the actual, the materials for whatever, and the workforce. And the other puts the plans for building together.
Cool.
So yeah. Do you want to go through each one, or do you get the pattern?
Well, we did go through that. So Portal Mountain at the bottom. Can we link up any of the other four to this? Any of the four products to this?
Oh, right. I forgot to do that part. My bad. Where's the there we go. Well, that's the product, the whole the corporations, right? So this is supplied by the whole of, this is supplied by the guild institution, really.
What is supplied by?
The guild institution is what supplies corporations, right?
Fine.
Because they're all in the same network, they're all in the same charter, same membership. You know this, right? Where did I lose you?
Well, I'm kind of still stuck on another thought.
Yeah, no, this is like, I haven't really tried to look at it this way before. So if the product, sorry.
Go back to the product and we'll basically see that this isn't even four products, it's one product.
Okay, so look, what we said before is Portal Mountain. And then we ask, where's the supply and demand happening? And it's right here, right?
We could say that.
So the next question was corporation. Where does the supply happening? Well, really here.
Wait. Now you're kind of the way that you're phrasing that kind of mixes it up for me, because when we say, okay, Portal Mountain is a product, the product is what's supplied. What's the demand?
The demand is provision.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So when we say it that way, it makes more sense.
Yeah. So we need provision to provide the guild institution supplies corporations. Like a corporation to move shit around, and corporation to dig stuff up and move it there, here, and there. The guild doesn't actually do anything. It's the thinking part, right? It's not the moving part.
Yeah, which a corp is.
So it uses a corp for everything. So when it comes to provisioning and everything like that, it just supplies. The only thing it really supplies is corporations. So this would be the line that we're interested in.
And so in this product progression or whatever, Portal Mountain, to deal with doubt, basically produces members, right? Like it's the whole education thing, right?
Yes. To deal with provision, it uses corporation to produce the entire guild institution.
Okay, cool. And what about the next? So we've got the card box method.
I'll change that soon. Actually, let me
Yeah,
fix
no
that
worries.
up. Let me fix that up.
I put it in, I pasted it in the lobby just now.
Well, as long as we're discussing it, right?
Might as well, yeah.
So, what was the cardboard card
Card
box
box method.
method? And then what did you have?
Well, it's in the lobby. I'm just getting
Oh, I
water.
see it. There it is. I was thinking of the word facilitation.
Sweet. It's a great word. Actually, I brought it up probably to you recently. I was saying that we're going to completely upend the facilitation industry.
The which? The which?
The facilitation industry. I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
mentioned that a few weeks ago.
There we go.
And then instead of game, I put layout.
Oh, did you? I don't see that.
And yeah, I don't know if it's in the lobby there or what. Maybe I didn't do it yet, but I like layout a lot better.
Any other thing?
Lobby. Yeah, facilitation, layout, cards, and deck. Sweet. The word layout really kind of gives the impression of an overlay, which I think is awesome. Also,
Really?
What's that?
Relational.
I guess, relating the abstract to the concrete space.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Patterning the concrete.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. So what demand is this supplying? Not quantification, no. Or just relation, then no, maybe. Yeah, maybe relation.
I'm sending a shot to Pepper Jack. I might be getting a messy plushie.
Yeah, this.
Purpose? I like that.
Why do you write anything down?
What's that?
Why would you write anything down?
Yeah. Yep. That's true. You're basically highlighting it out of the environment to integrate it into routine or whatever.
You're separating it out from the noise. You're really moving from A to B.
That's pretty
Leaving
neat.
behind tracks.
Neat.
Oh. this dashboard relation yeah, some quantification. Identity in a loose sense, right? Like access credentials kind of stuff.
Performance.
Skill, role. So maybe yeah, as a product, it should probably finish everything off together. Wrapped it up. Arguably, Portal Mountain serves the same purpose. So we can take it this way,
Right.
but also that way. It's just less direct.
So are you saying both Portal Mountain and Dashboard take care of the whole stack, or?
Well, they would by their definition, but I'm just trying to think here that like I'm not liking that it's so all over the place. There should be something else here.
Mm-hmm. Identity then, isn't it like the state of things?
Yep.
And that's a perfect counterpoint to Portal Mountain as doubt. It's the whole yeah, that makes some sense.
And it's interesting because that moves you from the academy back to the campus as a member. Huh. Cool. All right, I'm down with this. So we got doubt, we've got provision, we've got purpose, and then identity, and we just keep climbing up.
So this begs an interesting question then. What products would satisfy the demands that we haven't assigned a product to?
I think that those are more likely satisfied by somewhere along the lines being here. So
Right. Maybe.
Because aside from the products themselves, there's also like the infrastructure. And I'm pretty sure that the infrastructure, when it's supporting those, completes the final picture there. I'm not entirely sure, but this is a good exercise to do. So probably we'll have another column here to figure that out.
Right, just a product column or something.
Yeah. Product slash
Cool.
So what did we have here? We had dash. What was it again?
Card box. It should be simple to remember. Where do you put your cards? In the box. I'm banking on that anyways. Not sure if it's true.
Yeah, we got this so far.
Cool.
Check it out.
Oh yeah. Perhaps. Hmm. I mean, we do have 12 subproducts.
What monster? Look at monster. Monster.
People in the layout part of the infrastructure will be responsible for fitting everybody in.
In a cosmological sense, maybe.
Well, yeah. We're dealing with infrastructure, right? So this is a whole bunch of people who just share information, and one of them is to, we need this done. People over here need to live over there, right? That's part of the facilitation, I assume. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
Quantification Director Academy. Let's see here.
Account.
Okay, there are too many demo dogs. Yeah.
So what's happening that is all of these different places and things are effectively satisfying the needs indirectly through the infrastructure and directly through the products. That's what I'm seeing here. So the need for quantification comes from just the accounting part of the infrastructure. So if you apply this to the self, so to speak, or just the loop back, right? Do an accounting on your own, quantifies what you have, what you don't have. So it's still kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Do you mind taking a short, tiny break?
No, it's fine. You want to keep on for a bit, or?
I was called for 2 seconds. I'll be back.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool.
Sorry. Maybe think over about what the other ones could be.
Okay.
Hello, headquarters.
Officer Hardhead?
Hmm?
Officer Hardhead, come in, Officer Hardhead.
Lard ass. Okay, so objective navigation. Let's see what we can find. This thing. The Zoom screen thing is covering my tabs. It's annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. Go away.
I don't know if it's all going to cleanly fit together, but if it's kind of a weird twist, but if it works, we may end up adjusting our product themselves.
That's the idea.
It might inform the product.
Objective and navigator. Let's see. The only thing I can think of that might fit is this. It's the only thing that I can think that links up with navigation. Now, right now it's hodgepodge. Obviously, I'm not
Yep.
saying it's going to be perfect performance. Yeah, see, that's probably going to be again dashboard here. Or no. I mean, Cardboard's method can be done too. What do you think?
For which
Maybe
one is it again?
maybe this is too much of wishful thinking.
Well, for one, performance is more on seems a corporation, like a concrete corporation. Yeah, so we have it there already. No. I'm actually go back to the other tab. Performance. Well, training is already.
Why am I so stupid?
Why?
Why?
You tell me. The researcher.
Duh.
Okay.
Mm.
Where's there it is? Number 6. It's a chicken! It's a chicken!
There.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Preservation.
Obelisk is your dojo, man. You know that. We don't ask. We do.
Cool. Well, it's something. There's still not everything made it in there, which is kind of slightly concerning. But
Well, concerning, there's just more stuff.
more stuff because it's not a perfect 12.
Well, no, it's a 4x4. So let's see what doesn't make it in. Bonfire Embassy.
Yep.
Yeah. Bib.
Yep. Data center, database, deck.
Right?
Yep.
Anything else?
Yeah, we're missing 2. So Cardbox Corporation, Portal Mountain. Did those all make it in?
He's dead, yeah.
Yeah, they did. I think we're missing 2 of them. Conversation. And we're probably missing 1 more. What could it be? First one to get it right wins a prize. Consultation? No, we have that.
Duh.
Cards. Cool. And very neat. Maybe it's something.
What's that?
Maybe it is something.
I'm guessing it either splices into something already existing, or there's another pattern. Sorry, another pattern that we're not seeing. Can you please be quiet?
Probably the pattern might be it might be that our products break down into sub-products which which generically satisfy demands in ways that could be applied to many things. I guess it's probably just a holonic type effect.
Okay, yeah, but what does that make this column then? The undesirable work? So we've got the embassy, we've got the bonfire, so these are very personable. Got a data center, which is very nerdy. Got a deck, which is again nerdy. Database, back to nerdy. Forum, geeky. And cards, back to nerdy.
Well, I think we're probably just trying to stuff something where it doesn't quite fit. But as an exercise is no doubt interesting. I just don't think it's going to end up lining up. It can't. We can't. There's only 12 slots to fit.
Yeah, numerically we can. But I don't think it's a numeric thing because to some extent this does make some sense. Perhaps.
Well, the most sense it made was at the very beginning when we had just assigned a product rather than a sort of perceptive aspect of that product.
Like that behind the infrastructure part of behind it.
I guess, yeah, like how you break down that product. So demand and supply, we're looking to assign a specific product to meet that demand, I guess.
Yeah.
And those products.
Product or service.
Yeah. Sorry?
Product or service.
Right. Yeah.
But also there's services not. See, some of these services are serving the corporation itself, right? Because you got all these corps creating a product and they're using all this infrastructure to create this product. Right, so it's like a sorry, one sec. My Mac was unplugged.
Right.
So a product behind the product, you know, the one that got it over here also satisfies a certain aspect of demand. And some of these like things like role and things like you know, performance is really more of a measurement thing. But yeah, but like objectives and these are all pretty corporate things, you know. Like even if the academy and the navigator are like the way you get to an objective,
right.
You have to navigate the B2B network to actually do that.
Yeah, like arranging a critical path of cooperation or whatever.
Exactly, and look, and that's the terrain you're going to be having too, the network of business of corporations. So like you are satisfying these kinds of things indirectly with these, right? All the quantification happens through some accountant somewhere. The director can surmise that information.
Right.
So this is kind of like where you get the
yeah.
These are the people that would do it. These are the people that would send it. You know, this is kind of I think this is where the 3 steps are. The people who make, the people who distribute, so to speak. Or the place that facilitates you, though. You know what I mean? Like anything that does accounting and the dashboard.
Pick up the potato head.
Right. I don't know.
Looks like you're in a rush.
It's very questionable. I agree.
Yeah, it's fine. I think like the product at least, like the top level product, I think seemed to make some amount of sense.
So this was based on who
Uh,
supplies it. This is supposed to be on how it's supplied, right? Let's think of it that way. How is it supplied? So does this make sense? Purpose is supplied by corporation at the campus via the cardboard box method. This does make sense if like you're looking at a computer network or a nickname. This works, does it? Well, it does, because if you look at the cardboard box method, what does it do? It's there to provide the association of labels, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So suppose we're looking at corporations at a campus, informing it. So this is to all members, informing them of all the different initiatives that they're in charge of fulfilling. Can they express that via the cardboard box method and get people
Yeah,
to
that's one of the
buy in?
main purposes, it seems.
So so then does this line make sense?
Now, also, does it have to make sense at this point? Like, do we have to make this clear-cut
No, this
association
is a
in order to
feature of
proceed?
model speaking, right? Like you can frame things and it should work.
And what? Sorry?
One of the features of model speaking is that you can pretty much form coherent sentences. Should definitely be able to.
Kind of want to call it pretty soon, but I'm just wondering, like, where would be what would be like the starting point to articulating or formalizing the Portal Mountain as a product?
As a product, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
So everything is whatever cardboard box method is available to you. Whatever you want is available to you. Documents, if you want, doesn't matter.
Okay, but I mean,
It's a teaching experience.
you can't just say, okay,
Like you can have tutoring sessions if you want.
right. Okay, but so probably I can answer my own question by saying like the field guide or something.
That would be it. Yes.
Right. So a conversation based on specific artifacts, a guided conversation.
Yep.
And so that would be the field manual, but not only that, but like I have a feeling like a bunch of charts and stuff should make it into the field manual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all kinds of other materials that we have together. Like, so then I'm wondering like, okay, so guided conversation using a field manual. So the field manual is basically the focus then for Portal Mountain as a product. Is there any other aspect of it? will a field manual include like how to set up a Telegram group if that's a particular medium you want to use, or like?
I think that would be here.
Right. So I'm kind of thinking of Portal Mountain as a product as basically a viable system,
So besides the
whole
point,
package.
so besides the point of opening Telegram channels for Telegram specific, you're going to be trained in the skills of Telegram channels in general, right? And you're going to be trained, walk through Portal Field Manual. Together, like the skills that you bring to your Telegram channeling are already Portal Mountain invested. So like you would be thinking about these communication channels
Right.
in terms of the field manual. So skill can be
Yeah.
arbitrary, but shaped by.
Yeah, I mean, like when I think Portal Mountain is a viable system, it involves everything, even like what you just said, like going up this particular stack. Like this is the personal archetype here, basically, right?
Yeah, and this
Dude,
part of it is hyperstitional, right?
this all comes with it as a package. So we can say field manual, fine, but there's all kinds of charts and tables and stuff that will be valuable. You know what I mean? Like on top of
This is
that.
part of the field manual. So this is demand and supply. That's part of the economy guild. And guess where that appears?
Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so okay, so then my question is probably answered. We can probably say that everything is field manual, that we would, every pile of artifacts that we would want to teach Portal Mountain.
That's by definition, really. Portal Mountain is a field manual, and it's composed of the natural guilds.
Yep, cool. And then, so to take it one step further and link it with the, I guess one step further would be a corporation. So that all seems rather integrated already, like as in the corporation that we're building, right?
Mhm.
As a product. This would be the second product, right?
Yep.
So it's an instantiated collection or group of people who are utilizing the Portal Mountain infrastructure to interface with the state, I guess, and to start whatever, creating advertising products and services.
No, its job is to sift through all of the initiatives and apply for fulfillment, right? What it needs to fulfill. So it can't just generate a whole bunch of products and then go out and go like, hey, who wants to buy this?
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, you're describing the link that we've been discussing recently, the demand and supply versus supply and demand issue. Yeah, so we need to then, so the corporation has to be hooked up to this pool of initiatives.
Exactly. Well, that's what makes a corporation an entity to the guild is the fact that it's like a group of people that says, okay, we want to do a certain set of initiatives, fulfill them, and then you can say we can do those kinds, like because we have the skill set or whatever.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. So that kind of, that brings me back, way back to the idea of critical activism, which is basically a method of agitation, you could say, to help to get people motivated by articulating problems and not just superficial problems, but core deep problems. And this pool of problems is basically where the initiatives should come from, but we don't satisfy all these initiatives, but we can still collect them.
We collect all the initiatives and then we go through the agile economic method, right? Which is
Right,
start iterating over a backlog.
right.
And
So,
then
yeah, yeah,
as you're going through, you do first of all what's called grooming the backlog. That means rearranging it in priorities. That means
yeah.
find what is
So this is an initiative. This needs to be done. This is an initiative, and we can take care of this within our scope.
yeah. And on top of that, there's a communication with the people who requested said initiative, because it needs to also get integrated into the greater whole of
Right.
all other initiatives somehow, not block them, not necessarily,
Yeah.
or if it is blocked, to understand what the problems are, right?
Yeah.
And that's
If
what's
you
going to,
understand the constraints, you go to the initiator,
yeah.
probably.
And then, so this is where you have your that's the grandmaster job, right? To kind of continuously talk with the originator of the initiative itself, and then you have a two-way between keeping it coherent, and so some things will not cannot proceed, and at the same time making sure that keep it in contextual, that the initiative chosen are never missing people that are
Right.
within.
So basically, this the corporation that we want to create is kind of like well, I guess a bootstrap for doing the demand and supply properly, for just figuring out how to do it.
Mhm.
That sounds interesting.
It's on the person archetype, right? So the demands of this the person archetype.
Right. And so then, final maybe question, or how does this get into then the next product, which is where I have a lot of interest, the um, deck model schema, because we didn't. Is that covered at all in the field manual?
Deck model schema.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is, so you have basically the schema, right? The model schema. This is how you can have different colors for your index cards and what they mean.
Yeah, yeah.
And specifically going back to,
So
as
no,
far as I've imagined it, I want to be able to have a protocol type of card. I want a constraint type of card. I want a commitment type and an execution type, and potentially more, and maybe different types of schemas. And I want these cards to be able to relate to each other. I want the rules of how they relate to each other.
so why don't we talk about this wonderful article about grammars that I was talking to you about earlier?
Yep,
Because that is
it's in
all
there, right?
about this creating a special, like, DNA kind of card that can do this, that can do that, that can do the other thing. It's all about
Yeah.
that kind of protocol.
Hmm. Cool. So I'll give that article a read over then, and maybe we can continue this another day.
Yeah, I think that's for the best. So before you sign off, though, I had a thought pop in my head.
Okay.
So if you check this out, we got column D over here. What if we treat this column as another supply column, like this one? Oh, sorry. What if we treat this column
Yep.
as another demand column? So what do these demand? And then we could start to say, okay, we could start to use these ones and reuse these ones, closing the loop.
Perhaps. Yeah. And then you'll end up probably with another chart like the one where you exploded out that other one and there was like 5 and 4 rows underneath each one. 5 rows of the mastery level and 4 rows under member level. You may get something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Mixed matched relationship of
Turn it down, please.
something like that, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be tied in a loop. So what I mean by that is the industry or the infrastructure is going to supply that and supply for itself. Come on.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So for
Sounds very
example,
strange to me. Cool. All right, buddy. I'm getting pooped.
you seeing this?
Yeah. What?
Dude, it's happening.
Good.
What do we need for? We need a forum. Yeah, man. We can do this.
Cool.
Is this making sense? You need cards for layout. You need. Do you need an embassy for an obelisk? I suppose you do. No, you need for the field manual.
Yeah, so we're seeing the classic reflection of concrete up to abstract, up to mimetic.
Oops.
Classic.
So did I get everything? I didn't get bonfire for anything. What do you think?
Beauty.
You seeing it?
No.
To make dashboard work, you need a.
Dun, 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 dun.
To make the cardboard next method work, you need a deck. To make consultation work, you need a. To facilitate anything, what do you
Very
need?
good.
To train anybody, what do you need? to keep all your data safe in the corporate network, what do you need? What do you need to bicker it out in the laboratory? Data center again, it's the same corporation B2B. Account again, database, layout with cards, right? Just draw your floor plan, you're good. You need a deck for the obelisk because what the hell are you going to carve into it, really?
Of course.
That's the thought there, anyway. Field manual, you definitely need an embassy so somebody could throw a book at you.
Lo 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 do 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 do.
So I think we can, I don't know, like it's not the best, but it's not the worst. In terms of what?
No. I'm just entertaining myself because Jenny is rambling on. Cool, buds. All right. I'm going to stop the records. It's a very nice. It's good talk.
Erase
I'm going to try combine this with the other videos or whatever if I can figure that out, and then finally upload them. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, don't forget to get rid of some of it.
Yep. Yeah. And it's only Monday, so that's great. Hopefully we can do another one, at least one more throughout the week or something.
Is this 6th?
What's that?
Is this the 6th?
I don't know. I
Looks
thought yesterday was the 4th.
No, it would have
Or
been
the 5th. Yeah, so 6th then. Something like that.
Jesus.
Something like that. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to stop recording now.
Oh, just now.
Yeah.